And we are back to changing this into a business card. Now, right now, we have an 8.5 by 11 size page. What we are going to do is we can create a separate file, or we can just manipulate this size document as it is and save as a new document. So we don't save over top of this one, we actually save as a new document and name it business cards. So there are two ways you can do this. I can select this name, my object, with my selection tool, like so, and I can copy it, Command or Control C, and under the File menu, I'll just create a new document. Here we are, but that's not what I want. I want a business card. So there are some presets here, or I can just type it in. I'm going to call this business card, and it's in inches. A standard size business card is 3.5 inches by 2 inches. You'll see that it switches orientation from portrait to landscape once I do that measurement. Again, we're in CMYK. If you wanted to put in a background and make it look like you had it printed right to the edges, you could add some bleed. We're going to avoid bleed right now and just create a simple white colored background business card. We're again in CMYK, so 4-color process for print mode and 300 dots per inch also for print. So let's create that. I'm going to Command or Control minus to zoom out a little bit. And now I can Command V, so Command or Control C to copy, Command or Control V as in Victor to paste. Now it's far too large, so I'm going to Command or Control minus to zoom out. Grab a corner anchor point, holding Shift. I'm going to scale that down. Let go of my mouse, then let go of my Shift key and move that into place. One thing I also want you to pay attention to is there's a snap option that's going on here. You can see that it's being a little bit rigid, and as soon as I get centered, it snaps there, so I know I am perfectly centered within the space. Now I need to add the rest of the information to my card. So I've shown you how to create a new document, copy and paste your item to the next one. It's named business card. But the other thing we can do was we can go to our logo draft and we can actually go to the document setup. So if I just click to deselect the item here, I can go to document setup in the options at the top, and I'm going to edit my artboard here. So you can see at the top of the screen, it's an 8.5 by 11. Well, I'm going to type in 3.5 by 2. And I can use the exact same document, so black arrow the selection tool, and create my new business card. But I don't want to just simply hit save. This time I need to file save as, because I don't want to save over my 8.5 by 11. I want to save as, and this time I'm going to create my business card off of this one. So all I have to do is rename it. That's all I have to do, save, and my original draft is still there. And there we go. Now I have a business card. All right. So I have two options on creating a new document or using the one I already have because I'm using the same elements. So I'm not going to save that one. I'm going to save this one. So Control or Command plus allows you to zoom into your card here. I'm going to make that a bit smaller. So again, black arrow, selection tool, corner anchor point. There we go. I don't want to rotate it, so I don't want the double-ended curved arrow. I want this straight one. Hold Shift, make it a bit smaller. Let go of my mouse, let go of my Shift key, and move this into place. All right, now I need a new text box. Or I can simply just type, right? But this time I want to keep everything contained inside the box. So I'm going to select the text tool. and I'm going to go, I can choose character up here, or I can choose it from the the window menu. I can go down to type and choose the character menu, or if you want to start using shortcuts on your keyboard, you can do Control or Command T. So there we go, or I have mine set up here. So all the Adobe products allow you to set up your workspace as you see fit. That makes it more efficient for you to work. So it's totally up to you. It's very flexible. So now I'm going to click and drag a new box in order to fill in the rest of my information. Now you can see that my text tool right now has a dotted box around it. If I hover up and over top of the type above it, you can see the box disappears. When that box disappears, it means I have the option to select the text above. If I move outside of that selection, you see that I get a new text, a box around that. That allows me to click and drag and create a new text box. So always pay attention to how the mouse is reacting. So that new text box, new text box. So now you can see, though, look what I've created. I've created 3 text boxes, each with an overset alert, even though there's no type in there. So I'm going to get rid of those. I could have done Control or Command Z. That's your boo-boo button to go backwards, Control or Command Z. I'm going to take this text tool again, but now before I start typing, because the text was too big to fit in those boxes, now I'm going to go back and choose a font that I think is going to go well with this. So I want a contrasting font to my bold, script-like, handwritten-like font that's in red. I'm going to choose a light face here, sans serif font to go with that. So this one just happens to be called Avenir. And I definitely don't want 120 points, so I'm going to drop that down to 21 for now. We'll see what that looks like. It still might be too big. And you can see the leading, that's the space between the lines, is set to 25.2. So again, it's a mathematical sequence on how big that gets based on the size of the font. Now I'm going to click and drag. There we go. Woo, it's huge. So I think I'm going to bring that down because I won't fit all my type in there. So luckily we have this nice default text, Greek text, that shows us what we're working with. There we go, 12. And now I'm going to start typing in my information. So I'm going to put graphic design instructor. You please put in whatever title you see fit. If you don't have one, put one, you can decide what you want to be. You can be a superhero even if you really want to at the moment, just for creating your business card draft. So now I have my title. So I have my name and title. Now I need location and address. And I could add the postcode if I really wanted to. And now I need 2 points of contact information. So I'm going to start with my with the college's phone number. So if you're not comfortable right now putting your own phone number, that's fine. Just put the college phone number. And I'm going to put my college email address. There we go. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool. Going to play with the anchor points, allowing me to move that down. Notice I'm not distorting my text like I would with this one. This is a click and type. This is a click, drag a box and type in it text box. So notice how they react differently when I select them. Now this text is centered on my page and this text is aligned left. Well, I think I want everything centered. So I'm going to select this text box, and we had a character palette, but now we have paragraph at the very top, and I have a line left currently. I'm going to align that center. There we go. And visually I want to create visual space between these elements. So I need my name to move up a wee bit. I need graphic design instructor to be associated and related to my name. Now I need the text tool again. And after the word instructor, make sure you're not creating a new text box. See, if I clicked right now, I'd be creating a new text box because there is a box outlining my text tool. As soon as I move close to that word R, here we go. Look, the box disappears, which means I can now click and the cursor is at the end of that phrase. So I'm going to hit return. Woohoo, and I'm going to end up losing all my information here. So after the on for Ontario, I'm going to do the same thing. So not all my text fits. Look at that, I have a red plus sign. So the first thing I could do is grab my black arrow, my selection tool, select the bottom anchor point, and drag that box bigger. But now my text is way too close to the end of the card. That is likely going to get cut off in the printing process. So I need to reduce these spaces. Well, luckily for us, these spaces are also attached to a size of font. So I'm going to choose this text tool. And I'm inside here, right? How do I select in here? I'm going to select anywhere in here. So how do I select that space? Well, now that I've selected a spot and my cursor's floating around here, I can now double click where this space is in between and it highlights it. So I'm going to reduce that from 12 points to, let's see, 6 points. That looks like enough space. I'm going to do the same thing below. Double click. There we go. Currently it is 12 point type. Now it's going to be 6. So even my return is acting like a character in the alphabet. It's a space, but it still has the same properties as text. All right, we're getting closer to this looking like a business card. I could get away with this right now and be perfectly fine, right? But I want to add some more emphasis here I'd rather have people call me than email me. So I'm going to select the text tool again paying very close attention to my mouse. I do not want a new text box. Once I'm inside here, the box disappears from around my cursor, telling me I can select this text. So I'm going to click and highlight it. And now I'm going to go to the top here, my character palette. It also shows up here. And I'm going to change the style. So Avenir is my font. And these are all the styles available for this font. If you chose a font that doesn't have any more styles to it, then you would have to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to choose this. The heaviest option here is actually one called black. So I'm going to choose that. And see the color that I have here in my name? I'm going to go one step further to create contrast. So right now the contrast is pretty good. It's a really bold font. It's the same font as this, but the style is bolder. And it really does show that there's contrast between these elements. So please, this is Carolyn McLeod. I prefer you called me because I'm in bold. But I'm going to go one step further and highlight that. And in my swatch palette, I'm going to choose that same red. Now I'm going to click away using my selection tool and click anywhere outside of all these elements. And there we go. There is my basic business card. And that's all I need. And you can see that I now have a visual connection between my name, it's red, and the phone number, it's red. So now we really know this is where we want you to look and this is what we'd like you to do. So it's a visual call to action. Oh, this is different. This must be what they'd rather do for connections is call. All right, so now I'm going to File, save that as, if I haven't done it already, there's my business card draft. It's in this folder. If I've already saved it, it's going to say, are you sure you want to replace it? Well, yes, I do. Thank you. Let's replace that because it's my finished version. Adobe Creative Cloud, okay. Now I have my business card. Excellent. And the next video lesson will be doing the newsletter. Or sorry, the letterhead.